Hold my beer.
A lot of the things that I do report on this channel actually are the facts. I'm Satan, basically. I understand that as a public figure.
Well, hi, y'all, and welcome back to Janet B and Janet. You want to know what you do when you are completely out of content and you are Miss Coyote? You go after somebody's marriage. You absolutely do. Those speculations got to run wild. So let's see what Miss Coyote has to say about Blake and Ryan's marriage and what condition it's in. But first, if you haven't already subscribed to me, make sure you do that and turn that bell to all so you'll know every single time I upload about Miss Coyote. Let's go, guys.
Hi, besties. Welcome back to my channel.
And I tell her every single time we are not besties, and she has no besties. She has lost every single bestie, quote unquote, that she's ever had.
I have been so stuck in the middle of this court case that I haven't had a time to even think about the gossip that's been happening around.
You mean you've been so stuck on paying money for the court cases that you're stuck around?
Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Taylor Swift, all these people. But something that...
Oh, you have plenty of time to think about Miss Taylor. You have plenty of time and you have plenty of things to say, but you got yourself in trouble with them Swifties on Insta. So you came over here to YouTube and had to make sure you backpedaled so that they knew that you weren't against her.
Continues to keep coming up in my comments and all over my Instagram.
And now she's lying to you because I have been on her Insta and nobody's asking her, hey, why don't you go ahead and tell us about Blake and Ryan's marriage? That's not a thing.
Is about Blake and Ryan and if their relationship is on the brink of collapse and if they're going to get a divorce and if this is putting too much pressure on Blake and Ryan. And, you know, I don't have any inside sources to tell you that my gut is telling me this is true or not.
So you don't know how to listen to your gut? You absolutely don't know how to listen to your gut? You don't know how to listen to your heart, and you definitely don't know how to listen to common sense.
I have, Leslie Sloan on speed dial to lie to me about what's going on in their marriage. I'm not.
Oh, of course, she would lie to you about their marriage. I'm sure that they would give you any kind of information about their marriage. I think they know better by now.
Not intimately familiar with what's going on today in their marriage, but recently Ryan has been on the red carpets for this documentary that he was the producer on about John Candy. He's been making comments that have been really off the wall when he was joking about his son and saying that if he would have had a son in the beginning, he would have punched down his manhood.
Hey, we're not going to talk about kids. We do not talk about kids. It doesn't matter in what form, fashion, or way do we talk about kids. You don't like your child talked about. I don't like my kid talked about. So we leave children out of this, Miss Coyote. Use a little bit of self-respect.
And made himself have no ability to make more kids because he wouldn't be able to handle having 4 boys. And then he reminded everyone that he was from 4 boys. His mom had 4 boys. And he relayed a conversation about working on this John Candy documentary and how hard it was to get in touch with Bill Murray. And that
what does this have to do with their marriage? What does it have to do with their marriage? That's what you're supposed to be talking on right now. They're legal problems. That's what we're supposed to be talking about. We're not supposed to be talking about a documentary. Is that clickbait working for you, Miss Coyote? It sure does look like it.
Bill Murray had been ghosting him and that he was at an event in a tuxedo just ready to get going. And Bill Murray finally called him and Blake told him that they needed to get going. And then he basically says that he tells Blake, F you, I'm going to take a phone call.
Okay, y'all, answer a question. Hit that comment section below. Y'all answer this daggum question. Since when has Miss Coyote been afraid to say the F word? When has she been afraid to say it? This time, she's not saying it. And it makes you question why exactly.
All of this is for some reason making people speculate that there's trouble in paradise. Then there's also that Blake and Ryan aren't seen publicly together. She hasn't been on the red carpets with him. He hasn't been on the red carpets with her. And then there's these fueled speculative.
I think this is Miss Katie speculating. That's just my opinion. And y'all know all of this is only my opinion. It's for entertainment purposes and only entertainment purposes. And if I fail to entertain you, I do sincerely apologize. I'm just having fun on YouTube.
Pieces coming out from various, podcasters and people that have Substacks and stuff saying that they're fighting all the time and their relationship is at a breaking point. Okay, so I don't know what is actually going on and I don't spend a lot of time doing the decoding of...
Okay, so you don't know what's going on, so you have no business making this this video. Okay, I understand. I understand.
Of what happens to them with their Easter eggs. But I have a very hard time believing that there's anything really significantly wrong in their marriage right now.
Okay, so now we're going on your beliefs and only your beliefs. Okay, are y'all catching on yet? You catching on?
Because I think for them to have to believe that the stress of this case is somehow impacting them, they would have to believe that they were wrong, right? They would have to believe they were wrong.
And Miss Kitey's never wrong, and especially on doing a video like this. Never.
And if Blake and Ryan think they're right, even though they're wrong, what would they have to fight about? I don't think that they are having marital problems. I think that Ryan is strategically not talking about her because he does.
How would you like for somebody to get on here and talk about your marriage? How would you like somebody to do that? How would you like somebody to get on here and speculate on what's happening behind closed doors and curtains in your house? You wouldn't like that whatsoever at all. But because it's Blake and Ryan, oh yeah, it's open roll call.
Doesn't want to ruin his own brand. I think that he's avoiding discussing her. And if he does, he doesn't do it fondly because he doesn't want to ruin his own brand. I think Blake is not going on the red carpet with him because they don't want it to be a distraction. I think they are just managing the PR in the best.
Are y'all catching this? I think, because she ain't got nothing to say.
Way that they can. But the reason why I don't think it's putting as much stress on them as it seems is because I'm remembering a conversation that I had with Richard Fidek, who went through a legal process with Blake and Ryan for several years. And
oh, so now she's telling us who she's been having conversations with. Absolutely, Miss Kitey. You just keep going. Guys, if you're wondering what she does when she has no content, guess what? Guess what? You're listening to it.
Let me just say this. The behavior that we're now seeing from Ryan, where he is making very crass conversations or comments about his wife, openly admitting to cursing out his wife, not necessarily reading the room and trying to, not even acknowledging, like, your wife is apparently suing a man, right, for sexual harassment in a hospital.
Right? We all know exactly what's going on. We know what's happening in the court cases. We don't have to watch your channel to understand that. There's a lot better channels out there, and that's just my opinion.
Still working environment, and then you're relaying a story where you're telling your wife to F off. Mind you.
Once again, F off. F off. F off. What happened to you actually saying the words, Miss Kitey? What happened to that? What are you so afraid of in this video? Are you afraid that people are going to call you out for your cussing? Is that what you're afraid of? Because you don't mind showing some raunchy pictures up here on this screen. You don't mind that whatsoever at all. I've done a video over it.
It's spouses get in fights all the time, and FUs can get thrown around. So
there's that. There it is again. I'm telling you, she's avoiding something. Y'all let me know in the comments what she's doing.
Oh, I'm not going to sit here and say that a comment like that isn't impractical, right? It happens. But I think Ryan doesn't read the room. I think he's never read the room.
I don't think you're reading the room right now doing this video. I absolutely do not. You've already had this thing up and it's getting hardly no views on it right now at this moment, when usually you have quite a few views on it.
He's always gotten by with that brand of comedy where he thinks he can degrade people and disparage people under the guise that it's funny. And I just don't think he's really adjusting to how the optics of the scrutiny are on top of him.
And I think all you do is you state things that are opinions and you take them as facts.
That what he used to do just isn't landing anymore, right? So I don't think that Ryan's changed, though. And I don't think the dynamics in their marriage have changed.
And I don't think that you will ever change, Miss Kitey. There is no level of low that you won't go.
I think it's just being exposed. Does that make sense?
No, it makes absolutely no sense. 100% no sense. That's why you've got Harvey Weinstein up on your screen.
Richard Fidek was a photographer that Ryan falsely accused of hitting him with a car and stalking him. And he was charged in Vancouver with some crimes that ultimately became dismissed.
Why are you stumbling over your words, Miss Kitey? You're supposed to be a journalist. You ain't supposed to do things like that.
Years later, and the case was closed, Ryan and Blake fabricated fantastical stories about Mr. Fidek and tried to basically get him put into prison because Fidek took a photograph of Ryan Reynolds in his makeup for Deadpool, a spoiler for the series before it came out. And Ryan went out of his way to try to ruin Fidek over something like that.
What does this have to do with their marriage? What does this have to do with them being on the brink of a divorce? What does this have to do with anything? The answer to that is absolutely nothing.
And over the years that Fidek was covering Ryan and Blake, he noticed a pattern of behavior in their marriage and in their relationship that he described as Ryan being very demeaning, domineering, and not treating Blake like an equal, but as, his property, not being respectful about Blake, being very possessive, being very controlling.
Hey, Miss Kitey, have you gone to look in the mirror here lately? People talk about your marriage too, and you don't like it now, do you? Absolutely not. There's certain things people say about your marriage, and you cannot stand it. So why don't you stay out of other people's?
Controlling things down to her career. Having this rule that they would never do anything apart. They always had to be together because if they were apart, that was going to break them up. Ryan.
Hey, do you ever leave your house? Do you ever leave out from underneath your roof by yourself to go anywhere besides the corner store? Do you ever do that? I'm pretty certain the answer to that is no.
Ryan's propensity to show up on set, his rage with anytime Blake was in a film and had a love interest, the disruption that created on film sets. None of this is different, right? It's just now it's amplified. He described Blake.
When she says right over and over again and again, that means that she has no content.
As naive and very young when she met Ryan.
She wants you to agree with her. That's why she's asking the question of people, right? That's exactly what she's doing.
Because she was only 22 and Ryan was, I think he's 12 years older. So he was 34, 35. And that Blake is like a puppy dog that looks to Ryan as the answer, the most magnetic, brilliant person in the world that she's tried to model her entire career around. She tries to act like Ryan because she thinks that if she can be like Ryan, she can be as successful as Ryan.
Oh, you're trying to act like a Swiftie. You absolutely are, because if you go against those people, you know how they come for you in your comments and you don't like it.
And she has learned her and really amplified her manipulative skills around Ryan.
If you weren't manipulative, you wouldn't have any kind of audience.
But the problem here is that they kind of scheme together and they coordinate these schemes together, and both of them will lie for the other. In the case with Vdek, Blake wrote this long letter to the court and to the police, spinning fantastical tales to them about what she said Vdek did to her, which were not true, not grounded in fact, nor grounded in evidence. And it wasn't until they had to go to court and actually had to present the evidence and they actually had to go to trial that suddenly the Crown dismisses the case. And
let me go ahead and read the title of this video to you. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds on the brink of divorce as their legal problems escalate. With a question mark. Y'all tell me what she's doing.
And Blake and Ryan just walk away and no one says anything. And that case in and of itself could have put enough pressure on the two of them, but it didn't. They stuck together and they stuck to the lies together. But what Vdek witnessed.
So you're pretty much telling us that everything in their marriage is a lie. Everything they do is a lie. Everything they say is a lie. So we just need to go ahead and write liars on their foreheads.
When he was covering them as a photographer, which he did for years, was that Ryan treated Blake like crap. But that also Blake was equally kind of manipulative, and she had a propensity to get emotionally and connected. She would fall in love with her love opposite, which fueled Ryan's impulsive rage. But I think it's fair to say here that the cost of this litigation.
We all know that you do not like Ryan. We all know that you haven't liked Ryan. And we all know you'll say whatever you want to about Ryan. And just because of this lawsuit, you're able to put your opinion out there even more.
And the amount of money she is spending, the number of subpoenas that are going out, the annihilation that they're attempting to do to Justin and to Wayfair, a competing studio to Mr. Reynolds. I think this still is being very much fueled by Ryan, and it's being paid for by Ryan.
And let's think about it. Miss Kitey's constantly whining about how much money she's having to spend now, isn't she?
The person I spoke to from the financial world that was around the people that were doing the IPO for Mountain, the marketing company that Ryan was involved in, was speaking about how the overwhelming sentiment of people that were involved in that IPO, and because Ryan's marketing missteps were fueled and could negatively impact Mountain's.
See, she's tripping over her words. She is absolutely tripping over her daggone words. She knows she doesn't need to be doing a video like this.
IPO, and because Ryan was getting sued at the time that the IPO went public, Ryan was willing to spend,
Oh, look, that's a picture of Taylor. We always got to have a picture of Taylor when we talk about Blake.
$10 million or whatever it was on a lawsuit to protect his brand as the master marketer, right? So
Miss Kitey, you're not right. Quit asking me if you're right. No, Miss Kitey, you're wrong for making this video.
Felt a lot of what was happening with this lawsuit wasn't really about Blake. It wasn't really about sexual harassment. It was all about a means for Ryan to not have to take the backlash that the marketing of the way that they chose to market It Ends With Us was the failure. It was a smear campaign that caused all this negative reaction. It wasn't.
Woman, if you have driven yourself to this point of making a video like this, what are you going to do when this case ends? I really want to know. What are you going to dip your toe into next? Because you weren't going to cover Blake and Ryan in the beginning. If it wasn't for somebody on Insta asking you your opinion on it, you never would have been in the middle of this case. You never would have a subpoena. You never would have been spending money. You wouldn't have been on Pacer for it. You wouldn't have been doing a lot of things. And your views on these videos are going down, 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 down. So what are you about to do?
Organic. People weren't negatively reacting to the cross promotion of Deadpool and Wolverine with this film, or Blake promoting alcohol, or Blake not speaking about domestic violence, or the weird random jokes where they.
And I don't like it that you say the full word of DV. Just say DV.
did a thing with a bit with Brandon Sklenar, and Ryan came off like a jealous husband, which really played into the tropes of domestic violence that was permeating in this film, that jealousy and the rage that Ryle felt that drove so much of what he did to Lily in the film. So that was
And this always goes back to whatever's happened in their filming career. They are actors. And actors, actresses, or do you just say actors? Is that what you just say? I'm not for sure what you actually just call them. Some people just say actors as just a general thing. Why am I even going off on this? I don't know. I'm going to shut up now.
the reaction of the audience. And I think for Ryan, it's easier for him to blame a phantom smear campaign than it is to take responsibility.
There's that smear campaign. We got to have it in almost every single video.
And I think with someone like Ryan is that, and Blake, is I don't see this going to trial. I really don't. And the reason why I don't see it going to trial is because I don't think they're going
Did y'all catch that little... Did y'all catch that?
to have the evidence to prove their claims. I think they're just trying to delay and prolong this as long as possible and do as much damage as possible.
And I kind of think you're doing the same thing. That's why you're able to talk about Blake and Ryan so much. Are you getting ideas from their case?
As they can to Baldoni and to Wayfair through their various methods of their smear campaign. And then in the 9th or 10th hour, I feel like they're going to pull out. And I think they're going to, like, Richard Videk said something to me that I will never, in my mind, it will never leave me.
I have a question for you, Miss Kaiti. I got a question. Is there any conversation that you have with somebody that's private? Do you have any kind of conversation that you don't share? If you need content, don't you just go ahead and tell everything somebody tells you? Isn't that what you do? I'm pretty certain. So I don't understand why people trust you.
He said a leopard doesn't change his spot, that Ryan
And you are 100% correct whenever it comes to you.
is a creature of habit, that Ryan is the kind of person that uses the same strategies, techniques. He's aggressive, he's impulsive. Richard Videk called Ryan a psychopath. And
Do we need to say anything about what people call you? Absolutely not, because I just don't do that.
he said that Ryan it's to whatever means necessary to get whatever he wants without
Sound like somebody else we know, guys?
thinking about the consequences. And that once he's gotten to the point where he won't be able to get what he needs or what he wants, he'll quietly retreat and it'll be like over and it will be done. And so he
Or, I really don't need to say anything whenever it comes to her court case. Y'all know exactly what's happening.
doesn't think this will go to trial either. He thinks it's all just about a maximum amount of damage as they can do to inflict upon Baldoni and Wayfair to deflect from their responsibility and their role in all of this. So to circle back about whether or not there is relationship problems in this marriage, I think
This entire video wasn't talking about the daggum relationship problems. You weren't talking about anything like that. You were trying to talk about what somebody else said to you and not even what your own feelings are. You cannot talk about feelings, Miss Kaiti, because you don't have any.
I think there are significant marriage problems. I think Blake has been in a very controlling relationship with her husband. I think that Blake is, while she has her own money, she's very heavily dependent on Ryan to live the life that she wants. She likes the amount of money that he makes and has.
And it kind of sounds like you like the money that you make too. I do believe so. That's the reason why you're doing this video, because you needed something extra to make some views.
And she can't have that lifestyle without him. She could get, I don't know if they did a prenup or whatever, but she could certainly get spousal and child support if they were to leave, but they have young kids still. And one thing that Videk said about Ryan is that it would be really hard for Ryan to pull the plug on the marriage because he's very he wants to be with his kids. And so as much as a tool he is and how awful he talks about his kids publicly, he really loves his family. And
Okay, well, what's wrong with that? Absolutely, what's wrong with that? I want to do something. I want to go down here and I want to read this summary real fast. So you're going to see the screen move just for a second. It says, this video analyzes the recent legal troubles impacting Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' public image and business ventures. The commentator, not the journalist, not the reporter, not anything like that. It says the commentator. Let me show you. Right there under the summary. I can't point to it, but it says right on the right side of your screen, the commentator examines recent comments and public appearances, exploring potential impacts on their brand and relationship. Insiders' perspectives offers insights into the couple's dynamic amidst the unfolding legal drama. So yeah, Miss Katie, guess what? Even AI says that you're nothing but a commentator.
And so it would be very hard for him to pull the plug on the marriage. Even if Blake was a liability, it would be better for Ryan if he could just destroy Blake's career altogether so that he was just the star and Blake was just his doting wife, which is what he wants. So I would see them doing this for two reasons: cause as much damage as possible to Baldoni and Wayfair, but also
You do that to smaller creators, Miss Thang. You absolutely do. But I'm going to sit here and I'm going to laugh to myself that you ain't nothing but a commentator.
make it almost irreparably impossible for Blake to have a career so that he gets what he wants out of this. You know how they always say that there is this thing about domestic violence abusers, they will sabotage their partner's lives and careers. I have always thought from the very beginning.
Are you accusing him of DV? Are you doing that? I mean, because just listening to you, it kind of sounds like you are. And that's just my opinion. Are y'all listening to the same thing I'm listening to?
A lot of this was Ryan trying to sabotage his wife having a career because he's never really wanted her to have a career. His mom didn't want him to marry an actress. His mom wanted him to marry a woman that would stay home and be, submissive to Ryan. And I think if Ryan can sabotage Blake's success, this lawsuit does both. It ruins Justin, it ruins Wayfair. And
well, doesn't your lawsuit ruin both of you? Doesn't it? Doesn't it ruin your household? Doesn't it affect your money that takes care of your household? Doesn't your lawsuit do things like that? But you're not worried about your own lawsuit, are you? You're more focused on Blake and Ryan's.
it also makes his wife a pariah in Hollywood. I think if Blake wasn't a narcissist herself, she would have the ability to see that she's in an unhealthy marriage, but I don't think she sees it because I think she only sees what she wants to see. And I also
You hear her saying, I think. It's because she ain't got no facts.
think she's highly manipulative herself. I think, again, they would have to have the capacity to truly think that they were wrong, and I don't think that they do. I think whatever means necessary is whatever means necessary.
And I think you live by the same motto.
And I think more than anything is if they were to divorce, I think it would be Blake that would file from him. I don't think it would be Ryan that would file from her. And if Ryan and Blake did split, it wouldn't be because of this lawsuit. I think it would be because Blake got tired of dealing with Ryan's verbal diarrhea and being verbally abusive and controlling. Then it would
Okay, so right there, you're already saying he's verbally. Okay, all right, just keep going, Miss Coyote, dig the hole.
be that Ryan is tired of Blake being a liability. I think Ryan wants Blake to be a liability so that he doesn't have to have a competition in his marriage. He couldn't handle that Scarlett was successful, and he certainly doesn't want Blake to be successful. That's how it seems to me. So are they on the verge of a split? Are they fighting? I'm sure they're fighting. I'm sure they're fighting a lot, but I don't
Okay, so do we get to speculate about your marriage? Do we get to do that and say that y'all two are fighting because you won't keep your mouth shut about certain people?
think that's changed. I don't think that's changed at all. I just think their marriage is now exposed. Does that make sense? Let me know what your thoughts are in the
Okay, I already let you know my thoughts. I absolutely let you know my thoughts, and I'll let you know even more of my thoughts.
comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure
And y'all can give this one a thumbs up, thumbs down if you made it all the way through. Will you do me a favor and get down there in that comment section below and let me know that you enjoy these videos? Because if not, I won't worry about bringing them to you.
to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks.
I've already done that spew. I absolutely have, so I'm not going to do it to you again. But I want to say to you, I hope you have a good day, night, weekend, holiday, year, whenever you might be watching this, and remember to smile today or make somebody else smile, because it really can make a difference. Alrighty guys, y'all go find that daggum mirror and y'all make sure you smile at yourself. Why? Because it makes you beautiful, and it is something that translates to everyone. So you make sure you do that for me today, okay? Y'all have a good one for me. Bye.
My job means that I will be criticized, and I am fine with that. Bull crap, okay? I don't care if you talk about me. I don't care if everyone talks about me. No. Talk about me. I talk about people all the time. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like what I do. You can monetize the hell out of me. I don't care. Talk about me. She's a nasty, vile human being that needs to be held accountable.